Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
That breaking news here at noon, a death investigation underway right now in Commerce Township. Oakland County Sheriff's deputies telling us a man's body was discovered this morning near Proud Lake on Whitsom Road. The victim's believed to be in his 20s and was found by someone visiting the park just before 9 this morning. We do have a crew on the way to this scene. We'll bring you updates as we get them. We'll see if it happens during this newscast. Our other big come, everybody. The temperature is staying above freezing, but that air quality alert did just expire. Let's bring in Christina Burkhart, who's keeping an eye on the forecast and everything else. Quite a foggy start out there this morning, Christina.
Yeah, very foggy. And, you talk about how rare that air quality alert is in February. Reminder of why we had it. So we had seen that snow come on down for multiple days in a row. When that snow falls, it picks up little tiny particles, little small pieces of dust in the atmosphere, and it takes it right down to the ground with it. And then when that snow melts, all of those little particles get released. And normally we have a little bit of a breeze. It helps to blow them around and mixes out in the atmosphere, and it's no problem. But we've had such calm conditions that all of that just kind of lingered in the air for us. And so especially those that find themselves a little more sensitive to particles in the atmosphere, yeah, you had a little bit of trouble over the last couple of days here. Air quality still a little bit on the lower side. So if you are more sensitive, maybe just give yourself the afternoon until you head on out there. Temperatures very warm. Look at where we are right now for your lunchtime hour. 46 in Detroit, 42 in Ann Arbor, 47 in Pontiac, degree warmer in Flint there. And we're going to continue to stay warm through the afternoon, enjoying some of that sunshine out there. We're going to talk about how long the warm weather lasts coming up.
Hashtag shorts weather. With no deal on ICE reforms, the Department of Homeland Security has run out of funding, which means federal workers like TSA agents and FEMA staff are still working but not getting paid to do it. And with Congress off for the week, people are worried about how long this partial shutdown could last. Alice Barr with the latest from Washington.
Hi there. We're now in day 3 of this partial government shutdown, the third shutdown of President Trump's second term. We don't know yet how it's going to stack up in length, but the two parties appear miles apart. This morning, the reality of another partial government shutdown is settling in after the Department of Homeland Security ran out of funding over the weekend with no deal on reforms to immigration enforcement operations.
We need change that is dramatic, that is bold, that is meaningful.
We have to protect law enforcement.
While negotiators struggle for common ground, ICE and Border Patrol at the center of the dispute are still funded through what President Trump called the Big Beautiful Bill, while critical workers at FEMA, the Coast Guard, and TSA are once again working without pay.
People's lives and livelihoods are being played with here.
Union leader Andrew Cardosa says many TSA agents are still recovering from the last shutdown in the fall that snarled air travel for weeks. He says they can't afford another extended stretch without pay.
For me, eventually, it's going to come down to, do I put gas in the car to go to work for free, or do I put food on the table with that money for my kid?
Democrats argue they have to stand firm in the wake of the shooting deaths of 2 American citizens by federal officers. They're demanding changes, including a uniform code of conduct for ICE and Border Patrol, judicial warrants before immigration arrests, and no masks on officers.
No police department in America doesn't identify themselves.
What are you going to do, expose their faces so you can intimidate their families? What we want is ICE to be able to do their job.
Congress is out until next week, but could come back to vote if there's a deal. Republicans are accusing Democrats of political theater in the lead up to President Trump's State of the Union address next week. Democratic leadership rejecting that, saying they hope to reach a deal before then. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
All right, Alice. 2 teens recovering in the hospital this afternoon after a wrong-way driver hit them. This was on US 23 in Whiteford Township Saturday night. A woman driving south in the northbound lanes hit their truck head-on. That woman died at the scene. The teens were rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. US 23 was closed for hours during that investigation. If you saw that crash or you have information, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office would like to talk to you. You can call them and leave them an anonymous tip if you'd like, 1-800-CRIME-STOPPERS. I think that number actually is 1-800-SPEAK-UP for Crime Stoppers. A University of Michigan student suing after being accused of using AI to write her papers. The student, identified as Jane Doe, says her tone and writing style comes from anxiety and OCD, not from AI. In the lawsuit, she claims she provided medical documentation to the university, but a graduate instructor in her Great Books course still accused her of cheating. She got a no record grade on her transcript for the class. The student is appealing misconduct charges against her and also filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. The search for Nancy Guthrie is now in its third week, and it continued over the weekend as investigators worked to comb through more than 30,000 tips. NBC's Jennifer Bjorklund on the ground in Tucson.
Today may be a holiday, but there is no time off for the investigators who are working this case. All the days are running together, and now we're hearing that they are looking at some 30,000 phoned-in tips since this investigation began. But as Today Show host Savannah Guthrie posted in her Instagram feed last night, they still haven't gotten that one tip that brings their mother home. Investigators did have a busy weekend conducting several court-ordered searches but making no arrests. The sheriff's office says DNA from someone other than Guthrie or anyone close to her was collected from her property, and as they're working to identify who that DNA belongs to, they're hoping to match it to DNA on a glove found 2 miles away, which they say is visually similar to ones worn by the subject seen on camera at her front door. We are told preliminary results on the glove have been forwarded now to the FBI. Technology is also playing a big role. Drones fitted with Blue Fly, which detects devices that emit signals like a pacemaker, have been deployed, and camera caches are being scraped to look for more images of the person seen at Nancy Guthrie's door on that doorbell camera in the early morning hours the day she disappeared. So now on day 16 of this investigation, all this painstaking work is taking place, some of it behind the scenes, and they're hoping for a break that breaks this case open and provides some answers. I'm Jennifer Bjorklund in Tucson, Arizona. Now back to you.
This week, we expect to hear testimony from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg in a landmark social media trial. A mom and her daughter accusing YouTube and Meta of harming users' mental health because of its addictive design. The head of Instagram testifying the app isn't clinically addictive, but acknowledged there is a problematic use. It's not clear what Zuckerberg will say on the witness stand. Snapchat and TikTok were also listed in the lawsuit, but settled before the trial began.